Brian Anderson was close to completing his second year-long tour of duty in Iraq with the U.S. Army when he reached a turning point.
October 23rd, 2005, that's the date that I got blown up.
An improvised explosive device, or IED, cut through the vehicle Anderson was driving. His extensive wounds left him with one badly damaged arm and hand.
Soldiers don't think about coming back halfway. You either think you're going to make it or you're not.
Anderson's evacuation from the battlefield marked the beginning of a long recovery at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. There, while trying to learn how to walk on prosthetic legs, he encountered many visiting celebrities.
I didn't care. I tried not to pay attention.
But one stood out to Anderson.
And I'm trying to excuse me, can I get by, can I get by? I fell forward and I landed right into somebody and I grabbed his chest and he stood strong and he held me up and I pushed back and I stand up and I'm like, Gary Sinise, and he's like, the real Lieutenant Dan.
His role as Lieutenant Dan Taylor in Forrest Gump,
I never thanked you for saving my life,
instantly resonated with many Vietnam War veterans, reinforced to Gary Sinise at the 1994 Disabled American Veterans, or DAV, National Convention.
And the ballroom was filled with over 2,000 wounded veterans. And they were cheering for Lieutenant Dan and the guy who played Lieutenant Dan. And I was just overwhelmed with emotion. From that point on, I stayed actively involved with the DAV, and then September 11th happened and I just dove in full force.
All right, we are here live with Gary Sinise.
It was a call to action for Sinise, who, despite not having served himself, wanted to ensure the hard lessons learned during the Vietnam War weren't repeated for a new generation.
They would go off to war, responding to Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda and the attacks on our country, and then they would return and feel appreciated. And we must do all we can to meet the critical needs of our defenders.
Today, Sinise shows appreciation to first responders and veterans through initiatives that includes building homes for those injured in war through the Restoring Independence Supporting Empowerment, or RISE program, of the Gary Sinise Foundation.
You volunteered to serve your country.
To help fund RISE and other programs giving back to those who served and sacrificed, as well as their families.
Let's welcome Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band.
Sinise performs around the world with the Lieutenant Dan Band. His life on and off the stage, which began at the Steppenwolf Theater he founded in Chicago, is all in his new book, Grateful American.
It really is a journey from self to service.
And is the motivation behind a recent, heartfelt, now viral video.
Thank you for all the things you have done for our young men and women who have served their nation.
Featuring many notable Americans praising Sinise for his service to others.
Thanks, Lieutenant Dan.
That makes me feel really good.
Brian Anderson, who appeared with Sinise on the TV show CSI New York and now serves as an ambassador for the Gary Sinise Foundation, is in the early stages of building an accessible home thanks to the RISE program. He says veterans like him are the grateful ones for Sinise's attention and support.
I got this sense that he felt a little guilty that he never served and that he took the path that he did. But I try to tell him, look, we all serve in our own ways and we do the best we can, and you're more of a patriot than some of the guys that I've served with.
Many are still serving in places such as Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. And organizations like the Gary Sinise Foundation help honor their service and sacrifice long after they return from the battlefield. Kane, Farabaugh, VOA News, Chicago, Illinois.
No beans? Lieutenant Dan's beans. No beans?